Hey guys, Rick here with Josh and this meatbag, Ian. And we're here to talk about OBEs, whether chemically induced or naturally induced. So we're going through and just had a bit of a chat about that and explain how that works and gone through that experience.
All right.
So, out of body experience, Rick, you brought the topic. What's your experiences or your knowledge of out of body experiences?
So I had a look at it and I looked at what the different styles there are, so the inputs for it and how that looked. And I went, okay, right, because I have out of body experiences with substances, which is substance induced, which has been an interesting experience. But I've also had out of body experiences without substances, but using different methodologies to actually be able to step into that. So, and then it's just evolved from there. So seeing how that experience revolves around today's life and in what I'm doing right now has been very interesting because I get to do an out of body experience in astro travel, which is something interesting even again. So that steps it out even further in other areas.
Yep. So for you, what's the difference between a chemically induced one? I mean, the other one's chemically induced as well, but it's your own chemical.
Yeah, that's right.
What's the difference?
The self-induced aspect is a lot smoother than the chemical. The chemical aspect is a little bit rougher, and
I imagine it would be.
Well, I mean, acid. There's a classic example, and it lasted for. So there's a period, and I've talked about this before in my life, where I remember taking the acid and having the experience and doing whatever in the scenario, but then there's times where I just don't remember anything, and there's those black holes.
Yep.
So I went somewhere, but I was still physically present inside the body doing active things, but I don't know where the hell I went to. So that space I haven't been able to tap back into, and I would love the opportunity for it to come and come back to find out where I went to on that travel.
I first discovered astral projection when I was a teenager. There was a guy at school who was like all into it. He's like, hey, you should do this. And do you remember the name Shirley MacLaine? She's an actress and she was right into it, and her technique was you used to stare into a flame, so it was kind of meditation. And I tried it when I was a teenager and was never successful at it, but I don't think I really knew what I was doing. So that was my first taste of it, of what it could do and what it could be, because my mate was saying, I'd come visit you last night and all this kind of stuff, went downtown.
So this is the experience I want. I want to astral travel. I've tried a few times with a few different methodologies. I've tried Aaron Abke's method.
The one where he wakes up early in the morning, goes back to sleep.
Yeah, and all that did was just make me cranky for the rest of the day. It didn't. Well, actually, you know what? I reckon it would have worked. I started to have those hypnagogic sensations. And then my missus walked in because she starts work at like 5 a.m. So she forgot something and walked back in and just interrupted me. And she didn't know what I was doing, so fair call. And then I
tap her on the shoulder.
well, I wasn't quite there, but I felt my body. I felt my astral body lifting, and I was like, oh, okay, like this is the time. All I need to do now is get up, and I'll be able to turn around and look at myself. And as I was in that process where I felt like I was psyching myself up, she walked in, and it just all went away. And that was early on. And then I laid in bed for another like 2 hours, like trying to get back to that stage, and just couldn't. So thanks, babe.
She watched these videos?
Not too, probably not, mate. They go too long, mate.
Hasn't got time.
Yeah.
That's probably that's the thing that I've probably had. I've had that experience. I had it the other week here when we were doing a sound session where my body started to. But as soon as I become conscious, I'm like,
yeah. This happens to me in meditation. Yeah.
Have you done the doorway expression? So where you sit there and then you visualize. So you visualize yourself laying flat.
Yeah.
And then you have subliminal music in the background, so the binaural beats aspect sitting in the background, and then just envision yourself leaving your body. Have you done those style of meditations? Because I've done one where I walked out the door.
It's not something I've tried a lot, and it's probably something because I watched that same Aaron. I'll get back to that. But I've got all this other. It's just sometimes there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I've dabbled, but I want to go. I want the experience. I want to be able to do it. You know what I mean? Just take consciousness beyond the body. Like,
So I find when it happens is when I'm not trying.
yeah, see, I've had sleep paralysis a few
Oh,
times,
yeah.
where and that's apparently is similar to or lead up to, but just where you're.
Paralysis, where sleep deprivation.
So when your
No,
body,
no, no.
when your body goes to sleep, to stop you from actually acting out your dreams,
Yeah,
it actually produces a drug that
Yeah.
shuts everything down.
it produces a
But
chemical. Yeah,
sometimes, and I've had this probably since I've started the spiritual journey,
yeah,
3 or 4 times, where
Yeah.
I've woken up and I can't move,
yeah,
and you're just lying there going, "Holy, it's freaking!"
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
can't do anything.
yeah.
It's the
And
closest I've come
'cause
to is being able to say something.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, I've the same. I've like tried to, and generally when that happens, it's only a very short window before I do wake up, and it feels I could be having a normal dream or whatever, and then as soon as I hit that switch between my awareness being awake, but my body's still under the influence of that paralysis chemical, it's like it's instant freak out, and then it switches from whatever dream I'm having to nightmare mode. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah. And then like you're trying to wake myself up, and you know, trying to do these things, trying to yell, or for some reason with me, every time it happens, I try and search for light in my dream.
Yeah.
So what if I'm in a house in my dream or whatever I'm doing, I'll try and flick on a light because I'm under the impression that if I can turn a light on, my body will wake up.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it just takes a little bit of time, and then I'll wake up and I'm like, oh.
So have you done the thing that they talk about to do with Inception? So you know how he has the spinning top?
Yeah.
They actually say do that naturally in your life, and so do it every day.
Yeah.
And then that's sort of priming your
Yeah.
mind to be able to get into that out of body experience.
Yeah, I've done the these hands are not my hands one.
yeah.
Yeah, where you look at your hands and just I'm dreaming these hands are not my hands, and you do it through your waking life and it subconsciously programs the way that your hands look, and apparently in a dream your hands never look the same, and you can tell the difference between the waking state and the dream state.
When that wakefulness during sleep paralysis happened to me is when I've had auditory hallucinations.
Yeah.
And it was happening. So the thing for you, talking about ayahuasca, as soon as you put the intention and before you go, shit starts to happen. So you're connecting to the plant medicine already.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I started having dreams of or having these things of, oh, we're going to have some fun with you. So
Yeah.
I woke up sleep paralysis with this voice going, hello, Ian. We're going to have some fun. Holy fuck, I can't move. It's here. And it was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't my voice.
Ooh.
So it wasn't my voice, it
Yeah.
was someone else's voice saying we're having fun, and then I realised it was about what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So have you had like an out-of-body experience where you've travelled, come back,
No.
and you've remembered? So this is astro travel, and your out-of-body experience, you're looking at it, and then you've travelled with that as well, or not?
No, I'm consciously aware of the environment around me. I can see my room and everything. My eyes are open and I know where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had the hover above my body, look down. I mean, obviously I astral projected because everyone has that falling experience.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you're falling back into your body,
Yeah.
but I've not been consciously aware
And being able to control.
to control
Yeah.
it. So I've had it, but not
In what
purposely caused it.
Yeah.
in what state was that for you? When you were
Asleep.
you were asleep, so
Usually as you're going to sleep.
Sleep, yeah.
or just
Yeah.
like-
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us about your experiences.
oh my,
You're a regular astral traveler.
I do some weird shit. Some weird shit.
So how do you tell the difference between whether it's a dream
Yeah.
or whether you're actually astral projecting? I mean, obviously the one would be you can look back at your body, but
I look
is
at
that still just a dream? This is my question.
Yeah.
is we're standing in the room looking at yourself.
Is that still just a dream? How do you know that's not just a dream?
No, because you can't see yourself in a dream.
Ooh.
Your consciousness
Can
won't
you?
allow you to see
Ooh.
yourself in a
Are
dream.
you sure?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Or if you were to see yourself, you would recognize it not as yourself. So, yeah.
I'm
So
gonna
I didn't know that.
Yeah. For
Well,
some reason, consciousness or the construct, whatever it is, won't allow you to see yourself in a dream
So the dream's
as
still
you
very
are.
ego-based then.
Ooh.
I'm not
No,
too
because
sure.
That's why your sleep is consciousness.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. But, I mean, I've
or
had
is the conscious awareness? So when you're aware, that's where the ego kicks in that space, not in the subconscious programming.
Say that again.
So the conscious awareness, so when you're aware and awake and alert,
Yep.
the ego kicks in that space, but not when you're actually knocked out and you're in the subconscious programming, because the ego wouldn't be in the background of that, would it?
No, you're right. Yeah, because the ego shuts down.
Yeah, well, it's a program of the mind, and the mind.
It was really interesting to add the ad's been on for Inception recently.
Yeah.
And you've seen the bit where he says, "Do you know, like, do you ever remember the beginning of a dream?"
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, no, I don't.
I was just about to bring that up actually.
Yeah.
There's been a few dreams where I've like maybe vivid dreams. I've realised mid-dream that I'm in a dream. It always has to do with flight too. So I reckon in my previous carnations I was a bird.
Well, that's astral projection.
No. Oh, well, maybe. But yeah, and I just remember like waking up and like, oh, okay, I'm in a dream, and for some reason, and this isn't even when I was a kid. This is a couple of years ago. For some reason, at that moment when I woke up and realised I was in a dream, I was Spider-Man doing the web slinger thing, but I was controlling, and I was like, oh wow, okay, this is me doing it. And then as I became more aware that this is me doing it, I went to jump down in a building or something, and instead of going down, I went up, and then I went up, and then went up and left the Earth's atmosphere, and then woke up. So I was rising back up into my body. Whether or not at some stage at that point in the dream, it switched from like dreaming to like, okay, bang, astral projection, and I wasn't aware of the rest of the process and just was able to control it. But it was only a short amount of time. Once I put enough awareness in it, I literally floated out to space into my body and then woke up. And I thought two things. One, why am I dreaming of Spider-Man at 32 years old? And two, that was pretty cool, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, what's your experiences? What's it look like for you then?
Mine was always
Feel like? What's it look like?
so. Mine's always the walking out of the body
Yeah.
and then out the door.
Yeah.
So then after I hit the door, I'm gone. So I don't know where I go, and then I come back, and then I remember coming back.
So you're not consciously aware of where you go, as
No.
in, or able to remember.
No, I remember going up and stepping and walking with it,
Yeah.
and then just
As soon as you hit the door, you
Wow.
gone.
I thought with astral projection you could like consciously control
Go wherever
and
you want.
go wherever you
Well,
want.
that's the same
Yeah.
as lucid.
Yeah, yeah.
Lucid dreaming, astral projection.
I
I feel it's the same thing.
I don't know. Lucid
'Cause again,
dreaming.
is lucid dreaming, can you see your body?
I think.
Didn't research this enough.
No. From what I can. It was a while ago. I did some research. With lucid dreaming, you're in your body. So I as in like if I was to walk around, like I could see my body. I'm not sure how it goes with like with a reflection or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know about astral projecting if you're just your essence, your soul essence, or your consciousness projecting around, seeing things whilst your body is. Yeah, that's why.
In sleep state. What sort of state is it in?
I'm with astral projection. I'm not sure because I've never experienced it. So I'm guessing that if you were able to hop out of your body and then turn around and look back at your body, what's doing the looking would not be your body because there it is.
Yeah.
Consciousness can't recognize a body outside of itself.
Yep.
So maybe it's just the essence, the consciousness, like literally pure consciousness. You know.
Would it
that
record?
just-
So this is me just thinking as that's going through, and I'm going.
Mm.
You're talking about, and then you're looking back at yourself. Would it recognise the light that's within you?
Well, aren't you the
Yeah,
light?
isn't it the light
Yeah,
looking
but-
back at the body? It's almost like the
This is just
separation
the meat
of.
suit.
Yeah. Well, I'm just
Okay, so
asking that
let's go
question.
back to it. Is it technically your soul leaving your body? Because that's what what is it that's leaving? It's the energy, the essence of you that's leaving your body. So we go back to the thing where they measured the body weight after someone dies, and there's something like 8 grams is lost. So
Mm.
they think that the soul weighs 8 grams
Yeah.
of energy.
8 grams of
Is
energy.
energy.
Mm.
So is it your soul leaving your body? Is that
Then
what
if
you
it,
feel is?
well then if it is, then I look back, I wouldn't see anything except black.
No, you'd still the physical.
Yeah.
Because this is the impermanent part of you.
Hmm.
The permanent part of you is your soul. So if you're stepping outside your body, your soul is stepping outside your body, then you'll still be able to see your body.
Okay.
Because it's physically there. And then they talk about in astral projection how you have the
Mm.
cord, the umbilical that's attached
Mm.
to you. And if that gets severed, you're stuck. That's it, you're dead.
So I've read a lot of
You can't
things
come
about
back.
that, like the silver cord.
And
Some people say it's bullshit. Yeah. It doesn't matter if that cord's cut; your soul's coming back. But see, so
your
what?
numbers up, your numbers up.
Yeah. So what's the difference between astral projection and remote viewing?
Remote
Ooh.
viewing. Ooh.
Because that was a huge study. I honestly I cannot remember. I recently read a book.
Yep. So it's
Um,
the Munger Institute, and also
yes.
have you seen The Men Who Stare at Goats?
No,
Should watch this.
is that a good one?
It's based on
Yeah.
a true story. So this is called, I was talking to Maurice about this the other day, it was interesting. So the Americans, during whatever war it was, I can't remember now, might have been during the Iraq War.
Mm.
They created what was called the New Earth Army, and they basically got these guys to train them to be psychological army guys, and they taught them to remote view, to find people. Yeah. They taught them to.
I've heard of this. Like the man who,
taught them to be able to stop a goat's heart with their mind.
Yeah.
George Clooney's in it. Good movie. And basically, they were teaching people to remote view. So, that was the question I was thinking before. So, is it also sometimes maybe you are connecting to some other soul and you're seeing through their eyes? Because if everything is just connected, we're all one. Are you, when you're out there, maybe it's not you, maybe you're actually jumped into someone else and you're seeing through the mainframe of the computer.
Well, see, here's a
just different scene point. Is that what he's?
Different vantage point.
Like I can remote view with my computer at work. If I want to remote into work, I go to my computer here.
Yeah, tuning over there.
So are we just going and remoting into someone else and we can see?
Oh no, because one of the studies from that. What did you say the name of the institute? What was it? The Monroe Institute. What they did with one of their guys was they sent a pilot. So they had a guy remote viewing, and then they had a pilot that had to fly over the same place that the person was remote viewing, and that was just to confirm what was seen over there. Yep. The pilot didn't know where he was going until he hopped in the airplane, so there's no way that it could have been. And anyway, so they got this guy to remote view, and he describes flying over the area. So not the pilot. The other guy describes flying over the area. Obviously, they already had a basic idea of what was there, but the guy who was remote viewing said that he could see a structure being built and that there were cranes over there. And the whatever agency it was looked at their photos and said, "Oh no, that's not there." But then when the pilot flew over, the pilot said, "Yes, there's this structure that's being built with cranes over it."
So is his soul flying over that?
Yeah,
or is he actually just seeing it in his mind?
Is there a guy that's remote viewing connecting to the aeroplane flying over it, or is they?
Because he's flying over it, is he just connecting to the future of what's about to happen?
Yeah.
Well, that's dropping in the field and pulling it out of the field, isn't he?
Correct. So that's it. Are we actually? So this is what I'm trying to discern between the dreaming thing, or even in a meditative state where you can see stuff, to actually leaving your body. Because leaving the body would be to me, I can walk out and turn around and, like you said, see yourself.
Yeah.
And then go, hey, I'm going to walk through the wall there.
Yeah. Nothing physical can stop me because I'm not physical.
Yeah.
And this brings another question, and then this is a question that I've wondered about a long time. We have dark energy and we have dark matter.
Yes.
No one has any idea what dark matter is, but dark matter is everywhere, literally everywhere in every single thing. Here's the thing: what if dark matter is consciousness, is pure consciousness, and when you astral project or remote or astral travel or remote project or whatever it is just your consciousness able to go wherever the hell it wants, because it's just rejoining the field of the field of consciousness, the field of dark matter.
That's what I'm thinking, because we're all part of the field. And so when you get beyond your physicality, you can connect wherever you want.
Yeah, you can go.
You go to another planet.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, you travel through anything because you are the anything you're traveling through.
Yeah. And so it's just the intention to go, hey, I want to go.
Yeah, because I've heard of people who astral travel where they can astral travel through a wall. It doesn't matter. The laws of the physical world that we live in don't apply to those people who are astral traveling. They can go anywhere at any time through anything.
So that's the other question I was thinking about time. Like, can we go back? Can we go forward? Can we go?
Well, would time be a construct in that?
Well, it's not really, but we could still go.
Because we can go forward and back in time now, where we are right now, with thought alone.
Oh yeah.
So you're talking about just in the basics of it. And thought alone, we can move forward and back all the time.
Yeah. The mind can manifest the past at any stage it wants to, through memories. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, but not take yourself out of your body and see your body and then go somewhere else.
Yeah, actually, all you can do is replay
You're just
replaying the memory.
Yeah. Circuit in your brain.
Yeah,
But saying that, if we talk about ancestral memories, and you do that, you just because that's all just DNA coded. You've passed down generation to generation. You're just remembering the past memory. So you look at these kids that are coming back now, and they're remembering, I was in World War II and one or whatever. And
Yeah.
That's just the DNA coming.
The DNA lineage. Yeah.
So So he's not actually travelling there, it's actually a memory that's
It's been
passed down.
It's been with him all along, and he just has the ability to access it.
Yeah, so the veil of forgetting's gone,
Yeah.
starting to be lifted.
Yeah.
So he's able to get to those little circuits in his brain.
Mm.
Because you think about it, that's how like the whole ego thing is to make us safe.
Yeah.
Well, that programming is still in us. It's there.
Mm.
It's just also this life brings that up again. So yeah, I am. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with out of body experience.
It's a tough one. Yeah.
It is.
We should have brought someone in that's that knows what they're talking
I
about.
should have researched it more.
Yeah.
But I thought this bloke was the expert.
No, I'm not the expert. I didn't say
You've
I've had experiences,
So
but
you've never had it where you've been able to get outside the house?
no,
So you just
That's
open the door,
interesting.
forget, and then come back in.
that's it. Yeah.
I wonder if you could allow yourself to
Well,
go
this
further.
is something that I'm going to now
Yeah.
sit back and
Yeah, because
go play with.
it could also be that this might have been something that you've done for some reason. You've gotten excited about it, and then your mind and body have decided. Because you said it happens often, doesn't it?
It was happening often, yeah, because I was
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
a lot of meditation where I wanted to physically actually
Yeah.
astro travel, and so I spent 2 years trying.
Mm.
But I'm one of these people that goes, you know what, I'm going to try this, I'm going to keep going and keep
Mm.
going and keep going and keep going.
Maybe we
keep
need to surrender and stop trying so hard. Maybe
Ooh.
that's what.
That's what's happened.
Because
Like,
yeah.
when I had my last kind of ayahuasca, post-ayahuasca experience, I was meditating, trying to do it, oh, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And just as I was then dropping off to sleep,
Yeah.
all the fractals, so you get all these beautiful lights.
Yeah.
And someone goes, hello, Ian.
Yeah.
It's just peace, and all I went,
Yeah.
all of a sudden I went, fuck!
Yeah. Freaked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I get the feeling like I'm flying every single night before I go to bed, but I put my intention on it. But as you were saying before, as soon as you put a little bit too much awareness on it, you either snap out of it.
The consciousness doesn't want to see it. Doesn't want you to see it because then, ego doesn't want you to see it because if you then see all this stuff, you find the unreality of the ego, the non-permanence of it.
Yeah. So it might be a last ditch effort from the ego to prevent you from. Yeah. Maybe that's why you can't see yourself, in a dream. It's the ego's way of protecting, because if you can see yourself, you might see yourself as separate from yourself.
Yes.
And the ego can't deal with that because it wants to keep.
With everything.
Yeah.
I'm not this body. I'm not this mind. I'm not this physical reality. I am something more.
Something deeper.
So this is why people obviously take substances
To elicit.
It's a forcing thing. So the other thing that was, few people like Michael Singer talks about this, and Hawkins talks about being careful with substances.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of is a bit of a spiritual push too far, and that's why some people die. Or they go crazy because they're not ready for it. They haven't done enough of the work. I mean, or some people just don't have any experience. The ego's so strong it just doesn't let them.
Well, some people that is the catalyst for their spiritual awakening. That's how it was with me. Had an LSD trip, and I got to the center of this trip, and there was just nothing but pure love and pure understanding that the soul is connected to everything. And then from that, in my waking life and every moment after that, I've had such an awareness of consciousness, of spirituality, and such a connection. And so for me, it was. And who knows? I might have opened myself up to this spiritual realm anyway. But for me, the LSD trip was the catalyst to my spiritual awakening. So maybe I was ready at the time, and
that's right.
that's the thing that sort of opened the door for me.
That's what the shamans say when someone dies. They go, "Oh, that was meant to happen."
Yeah.
That's where that person was. They were ready to go.
Yeah.
So that was the start of your spiritual journey.
That's what opened me up to spirituality and consciousness.
Something else.
So mine was it.
Fuck.
What was that? Yeah. I was just like, oh, there is so much more to this than just, but it was, it seemed to last for such a long period of time. And that's obviously with LSD and psychedelics, there is that time warp.
So is that an out-of-body experience for you?
I don't believe that was.
Were you separate from your body at the time?
No. I feel like I was pure consciousness, but I was pure consciousness in this body. I wasn't separate from my body. And that being said, I have had other out-of-body experiences that were chemically induced.
Yeah.
Psychedelics have their purpose.
Yeah.
Not condoning, but you know.
Well, the thing is now, modern psychiatry is starting to look at these.
Yeah, well,
as treatments, so-
microdosing with psilocybin has become a thing now for people
all
with
of them.
PTSD,
Even
depression,
ayahuasca,
everything.
like
Yeah.
ketamine's one they start to use quite a lot. for
Yeah.
people, which is a horse tranquilizer.
You're bringing up some memories there.
Yeah, just a few memories. I want to talk about them.
And it works.
Yeah.
Again, in small doses.
Yeah.
All of them.
Therapeutically,
all of them.
everything is good. Yeah.
There's iboga, which a lot of people don't know about, which is an African one, which is apparently like ayahuasca on fucking roids.
Yeah.
It's like real near-death stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the I watched was the guy was saying basically it was like he had access to the universal Google,
Yeah.
and he could just basically go. It was like he had a search engine in front of him.
Yeah.
And he could type in it, and it would give him the answer.
Wow.
And the other thing,
Oh,
and-
is that then tapping into
The universal
caged
consciousness.
records?
And
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
maybe just his.
the records.
But if you had done iboga 200 years ago, and there was no computers, then that.
What would you?
might
Well, I
have
mean,
been
your
experience.
environment might have
Yeah.
been similar to it.
Yeah.
A 200 year ago boga might have been reaching up and touching the knowledge of God, because back then that's what they believed they got their information
But,
from.
yeah, the other thing
Yeah.
then he was talking about that he then had experience with his girlfriend who had taken it,
Mm.
and it was that good that he was then able to ask her his questions. He wasn't doing it. She was, and he was able to ask her his questions, and she was able to tell him the answer.
Damn.
But he said she was in a world of hurt.
Yeah. Oh, is it not liking it?
Oh, apparently it's pretty rough.
It's too brutal.
A
Yeah.
lot of people, it's full on.
Yeah.
Because basically what you're doing with them is simulating a near-death experience.
Yeah. With those heavy drugs. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the 2 times DMT is naturally produced in your life when you're born.
But yeah,
When
birth
you
and
die.
death. Yeah.
It's to prevent you feeling that fucking extreme stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the same with what the breath work's doing. You almost stimulating it. My body's starting to think it's dying.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it kicks in.
Yeah.
We can't die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I've had other out of body experiences on psychedelics, and there's probably 2 memorable ones. And the first time it happened was the first time that I was aware that I was having an out of body experience. Was just I was laying on the trampoline outside, and
As you do when you're taking.
mate, there's no honestly nature and
Oh, yeah.
psychedelics are the best. So
Yeah.
just laying on a trampoline, looking up, and what I realized that I was doing, and I was aware of it, was I wasn't looking up into space. I was looking through space, and I started to fold space around me. So I left and I went up, and I kept going, and then I reached this height, and it was nothing but pure blackness, like just pure, or not in blackness, sorry, just pure infinity of space. And I heard this loud, booming, the most comforting male booming voice I've ever heard in my life, and it just said, "Welcome." But it was like a movie. It was like welcome and echoey and so booming.
Like Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, kind of, more like Morpheus.
Yeah.
And then as that's happened, like a light shot out of me, like hit up in space as far as I can, and then shot out in the shape of a pyramid, as if a pyramid was upside down and I was looking directly at its point,
Yeah.
and it just shot out. And that happened, and I felt warm, and then I freaked out and rushed back to my body, and I fell. I come back to my body really, really hard, and I was like, holy shit. So that was the first time it happened.
Yeah.
The second time it happened is what you were saying before, when the remote viewer was just connecting with another consciousness.
Yeah.
I had this moment where all of a sudden the construct of time completely fell away from itself, completely broke down, and I was experiencing past, present, and future all of time simultaneously. And at that stage, I took a big breath and opened my eyes, but I wasn't on the trampoline again.
Yeah.
I was in a monastery, like a Tibetan monastery up on the hills, sitting up on a cliff, meditating, and it felt like my consciousness had swapped with the consciousness of a monk who was in a deep, deep meditation. I could feel the wind around me. I opened my eyes, see myself sitting in a way that my knees aren't flexible enough to sit. And I was just overlooking this mountain. It was just clouds underneath me.
Is that a past life regression?
I don't know. I don't know if in
And
that
that
altered
could-
state. And here's what I thought. I had a thought of it when I come back. This monk that I
Because
was...
there's still monks in Tibet meditating.
Yeah, exactly right. And when they
Yeah.
meditate, their consciousness can do crazy things.
Yeah.
You know, they have that ability. And so I'm thinking, because I was in such an altered state and he was in such an altered state,
You just connect.
consciousness just connected. And whether or not he all of a sudden was a 30-year-old male laying on his kid's trampoline in the
Look at
backyard, and I got the experience of being a monk. Who knows? But yeah, that was yeah. But fully, like I was awake and I was able to look around and experience it, and at the same time, there was no time. I was time, which is where most people switch off.
That monk could be part of that monk could ultimately be part of your social memory complex.
Yeah. But it felt.
So maybe there's different types of out-of-body experiences. One where you actually do kind of start levitating in your body, or where you actually do what you just said, where you go
induced and
altered state of consciousness. Yeah.
But it also obviously comes down to, so that was another chemical industry.
Yeah.
So the different chemicals do different things.
Potentially.
Because people say like mushrooms aren't as intense as ayahuasca.
Yeah.
LSD, something different again. It's all hitting different parts
Has
of
anyone
the brain.
Has anyone travelled when they've done? You've done breath work, enough breath work now to understand. Have you travelled in breath work, or have you had vision in your breath work that's given you the opportunity to travel? And this is where I ask that.
No, I felt myself start to leave my body, and I would say I had like visions.
I want to do some breath work.
Yeah, so I've had visions.
I'll take you through some. It won't be super intense, but it'll start you how to do some. Yeah, for me it was more like a dream, because it wasn't actually outside my body, so I was experiencing stuff. Like the last breath work, remember I was riding a horse, jumping into battle, stabbing people. It was kind of weird. And then Mary's just going, she'll go off tap, and I was just letting my body do what it wants.
Yeah.
It's like, so Maurice and I have this kind of connection where we have been warriors together before. And
Yeah.
Had these kind of, and I was like, I was riding into battle with you.
Mm.
And so, is that just a past life memory? I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, it's not something that I can really relate to. So I don't understand whether it's the one where I'm having a really vivid dream, or I in this space leaving my body and walking
Yeah.
away, and then I can go through a wall, and that's for me what out of body experience is.
Yeah.
Even though when I'm having a really good dream or some really good breath work and I don't feel like I'm present in the room.
Yeah, but you're still present in the room, so then you've technically
I'm
left.
not aware of my surroundings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Completely disconnected, and I'm just having this complete inner experience.
Yeah, I feel like out of body is out of body, but within range of body to be able to see your body and your surroundings. That's what I describe as the difference between out of body.
To rise out of my body.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
But not really seen.
Yeah.
Blackness,
Yeah.
Or I can start to feel something and I just go.
Yeah.
Freak out. No.
Yeah.
Freak out. I'm
Starting to
aware. Become too conscious of what's
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
I'm just relaxing and letting it go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, and is it hallucination? Like when I did ayahuasca, I was sitting in the Amazon forest, like, here fucking kookaburras.
Did you go
There's
to?
no fucking kookaburras here.
Where did you go to?
Peru.
Peru, yeah, that's
A village in the middle of Pucallpa.
Yeah.
With Shaman, yeah.
That's where me and my partner are hoping to get married. So, babe, if you are listening.
Yeah.
Because
that's where I'm at. Because I really haven't had what I would consider a full-on. For me, on an out-of-body experience was like if I was lying on the floor here and I was able to raise my soul and walk out and see you sitting there and walk around watching us having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So being in the present time that I'm at, for me would be an out-of-body experience. So you see people that as they go in hospital they're dying and they raise out of the body and see everybody working on it. That's an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
In your current present time reality and then you can go, oh shit, this is cool, I'm going to shoot to the moon or something.
Yeah.
So for me that's what out-of-body experience. But saying that, when I'm completely not aware of this physical form and my surroundings, is that also out-of-body experience?
Well,
that's my question. But for me, if we're defining what ODs are, it is stepping outside the body and seeing the current situation that's happening.
so in other words, seeing the exact same way as our higher self sees us.
Well, it is probably still our higher self because it's a soul, oversoul. It's our soul that's connected. that's my thoughts on it.
Hmm.
Now, what causes that to happen? Is it a chemical? Is it us really connecting with that soul part of us and able to, and our body is got out of the road of our conscious mind or ego mind, and we're just going, let's go for a ride.
Hmm.
No answers?
Well, I'm sitting there.
Tune in next week and
Is it just before a certain circumstance or a certain situation that your body becomes aware of it to actually throw that out, to throw you out? Do you know what I mean? And so the chemical induced does a throw out version of that. So where you put a chemical in there, put you to a state where it actually activates.
So man, it's like a near-death experience.
Yeah.
Like ayahuasca, that's why I say people die to be reborn. So like you talk to some people, they come back to, when they come back, they don't know who they are for a while.
Yeah.
They're completely disconnected.
Like a
from
confusion,
their
yeah.
They're just awareness.
Yeah.
but we-
Their ego shut down, their mind's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we die to ourselves every day.
Yeah,
In a way.
But physically, they're not connecting with any of their memories, who they are, what their name is.
It's like a full reboot of the
They're
brain, of the
completely
mind. Yeah.
disconnected.
Yeah.
So that's what happens in the ayahuascas,
Mm.
LSD trips. I mean, it doesn't happen for everybody.
Mm.
Obviously, it depends on where you are with your process
Mm.
of spiritual evolution. Like some people would have that experience, and if like they've never done any spiritual work, and you went and did an ayahuasca trip, and that happened, you probably end up in a learning bin because you wouldn't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to come back from that. Yeah.
And you have to have the right people.
Like, oh my God,
This is
everything,
what's
yeah,
going on. That's
everything
why I
I've known
say
in my life.
After you do any of that kind of stuff, don't come back to reality straight away because
Spend more time there.
it's too intense.
Yeah.
You've got to have a reintegration process, as a lot of people say. And I've had mates who don't do any of that stuff and go do a lot of shamanistic work and do all that kind of thing, because that's, and then they do have to have 3 or 4 days just sit in a hotel room to come back to
Recalibrating,
basically,
yeah.
recalibrating, coming back to ego consciousness, because you still need that ego consciousness to keep you safe in this reality.
Mm.
Because if you completely like sitting with some of those Aboriginal elders, they're completely disconnected from having to feed themselves,
Yeah.
which you can't survive. So
Yeah.
that's where they're at. So if you try and speed that process up for some people, it's too much.
Mm. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So Hawkins talks about this. He says, don't do it. He says, don't chemically induce anything because it can cause a lot of problems. But people are doing it. And maybe that's also because people are at that space now where they've experienced out-of-body experiences without doing anything.
Yeah.
Well, there is something more here.
Yeah.
You know, and with the Earth changing its energetic levels, I think people have tuned up enough that maybe that chemically induced stuff is not.
It's not as bad as what the government makes it out to
You
be.
go to Peru, man. These kids, these shamans have been taking ayahuasca since they were a kid.
Yeah.
Their bodies are tuned into it. So
Yeah.
when they get to that, I'm pretty amazed. So when I was doing it, I was sitting there with my eyes closed, and I could see there's 3 or 4 shamans there. I could see their body, and I could see their heart and their heartbeat
Yeah.
with my eyes closed.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was pretty trippy. I was talking to them, they're just laughing at me again. One guy's going, he's off shops. Pretty serious with that, yeah. He's talking to a dog and everything. There's a dog sitting there. So yeah.
You should crowdfund a trip out that way, I reckon.
Yeah, good thing. I'd go again.
Yeah.
So it only cost us, I think $600 for the stay in the village and for all the ayahuasca stuff. So that was cheap. But if you go to somewhere like, if I did it again, for my ego to feel safe, I'd go to somewhere like Arrhythmia or somewhere where
It's like the actual
cost really
institutions, yeah.
where they test you, they got psychologists, they got doctors, and
Yeah.
that sort of shit. Because I got sick, because I picked up a stomach bug. And I did 2 trips and I went, I'm too sick, I'm not doing this again, there's something else going on here. No, you're right, it's just the medicine. I went, no.
Because you do 3 nights, 3 nights in a row?
I really did 5.
You 5, Jesus.
So there's grandfather ayahuasca and grandfather ayahuasca. So grandfather ayahuasca is the one that brings up all your shit. So they're the 2 I did. It just puts you through the freaking ringer. And
Yeah, that's good though. That's that's inner
But
shadow
then
work,
I
you know.
didn't get to the loving one.
Oh.
Which is grandmother who loves you and holds you. And
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, no, that's not part of my journey. That's a journey I will not be taking.
I mean, the closest thing is like probably when this is probably the closest experience I really had out of work experience where I had to get up during it and go to the toilet, and I went to put my foot down, and where was the floor? Like there was
You just kept-
complete disconnection between where my body was in space and where I was.
Yeah.
It was like, where's the floor, where's the floor, where's the floor? Fuck, I'm gonna fall over, I'm gonna fall over.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
That would probably be the closest to
Yeah.
that complete disconnect from my body, but still being able to see what was going on around.
Mm.
Mm.
Wild.
Hey, it's not for the faint-hearted. As my mate said to me when I went to the second one.
They don't
he
call
said
me
my
Braveheart
eyes
for
was
nothing,
just-
mate.
When I went to the second one, my eyes were like this. I was like, I knew what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Whereas some people sat down 5 trips, didn't have anything.
Yeah.
I saw a few lights.
Yeah.
Saw that.
Were you already open spiritually
Yeah,
prior
so
to
that's
it?
what I was
Yeah.
saying, stuff had already happened before I went.
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah.
had those kind of sleep paralysis.
Yeah, hey, mate, yeah.
And auditory hallucinations
Yeah.
and weird stuff.
I've never had auditory hallucinations
fuck,
during
you don't
sleep, but
know.
I've had a lot of energy, energy hallucinations where I can't see, but I can feel an energy in the room. I can feel an energy touching me, or I can feel an energy
Ooh.
grabbing, and those sorts of things. You know what I mean? Or sometimes I just wake up and all the hair on my legs is just on my legs. My whole body is standing up, and I can feel an energy. I don't know what it is.
So is that possibly someone else is having an out-of-body experience and visiting you?
My missus is just fucking with me.
It could
Oh,
be.
I never thought about
Because
that.
I have tried to, in the last year, in meditation, go visit my daughter in Canada
Yeah.
and start talking to her. I just vision her and where she's at, because I've got a few pictures, and
Yeah.
talking to the baby and all that sort of stuff. And I often wonder, well, am I actually going there?
Yeah, is a part of your essence
Am I
being
actually
felt over
going
there.
Even though I'm not consciously aware that I'm being there.
Yeah.
She actually is feeling me.
Or no, because it's potentially, aren't you setting the intention to go there? So wouldn't it be possibly a reality that you're creating for that experience to be open to that? So you know what I mean?
I think
Actually,
you have to.
Yeah.
And
I
then-
think you have to do an out-of-body experience.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what my intention would be. I have the intention to come out of my body and go visit. I think some people will pop out of it without knowing. They go, what's going on? Like when people die, they pop out and go, holy shit, what's going on here?
Yeah.
There's no intention, but
Yeah.
if you've got an intention, you go, okay, I want to visit. And Aaron Abke talks about that. Set the intention of where you want to go.
See, I could never get too focused on it with me when I did the Aaron Abke one, and I set my intention. All I did was I set my intention to stand up and turn around and look at myself.
Yeah.
You know, I just set the intention to have an experience. I didn't get specific.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start small and just intended to go walk out.
Yeah.
in
take
the lounge
a
room.
step.
Yeah, walk out to the lounge
I
room.
think it's interesting that you can't get out the door.
Yeah, you can see the door and open it and walk through it, but then you fall under. Yeah. Maybe that's just a program of you going to sleep. Your body's like, okay, I'm feeling tired now. What do we do when we go to sleep? This is something we've done regularly. Bam.
Yeah, but I've
And-
done this in the middle of the day.
Oh, damn. How long do you go for?
Lie
Just
down.
get in a comfortable position, and then just step into the state and just think and go through the process, and then all of a sudden I go, okay, radio.
So have you ever turned around and seen yourself sitting?
No, I never looked back at myself.
You should. And
Interesting to see.
how long does that time last? You know, you said you walk out the door and then you come back. What's the time frame? Does it vary?
So one time I was out for 45 minutes to an hour and a half. One time I come back, it's 3 hours. One
And-
time I lose. There is no such thing as time.
Yeah. So you
Oh,
go.
But are you going to sleep then?
That's the thing that I need to find out. I'm going. You know what I'm going to do? Record it.
Yeah, you
Call
should. Yeah.
yourself to a-
Oh, you watch the video back, just like.
Hey, if it does that puts it.
Sleep on it, right?
Well, you just got to wear a fit watch. I'll tell you straight
Fitbit,
away.
yeah.
I've heard that.
This one works for me.
Yeah.
Tells me how many minutes I'm awake, what kind of sleep I'm in, and it's accurate. Well, I feel like it's accurate, but
3 minutes, I'm gone out of here.
Maybe you may fall asleep.
Might have to find it out.
And that's why they say meditating is sitting up. Yeah, try it sitting up,
I'm gonna,
not sitting back on the couch.
yeah, because then if you do fall asleep, yeah, if you do fall asleep, as soon as your neck jerks, you'll wake up.
Do breath work, pass out, and then.
That's breath work's different to going to sleep, isn't it? Because the state you put yourself
But you're
into.
pushing yourself out of your body, or you're going into a deep meditative state where you're still conscious while you're connecting. And
Yeah.
then the guy goes, then I'll go and wake up 2 hours later, I come 2 hours later on the couch. And where have I been? Or, yeah.
Wild.
Or if a breathwork session's been like that, where have you done Wim Hof's one of his breathwork sessions and dropped out and been knocked out?
No, I've never been knocked out. Never knocked myself out. Come close, I've never knocked myself out.
KO.
I need to get into some breath work. I've never.
We can do a bit. Yeah, I'll show the teacher a bit.
Breathwork's been, I've KO'd out, come back, and I'm like, 4 hours is gone.
Yeah, see, because what
I think it was
learn with breathwork is to get my ego out of the road, because sometimes you try to push it too far and hold it, the breath.
that's what I did.
Yeah, and from other people I've been watching TV, they say that's just your ego trying to push you too far. Sometimes it's also getting above the ego, so because the ego wants you to breathe, stay safe. But when you're knocked out, do you remember going anywhere? You just went
Gone. Blackness. Come back and went, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's the first words that come back to me. I went, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that was interesting. Note to self,
Yeah.
not that far.
Yeah, because a lot of the people who do like the Joe Dispenza meditations, the DMT stuff, the breathing stuff, they have out-of-body experiences where they levitate out of the body and then they can see themselves and everyone in the room.
Yeah.
What's going on. Yeah.
I got some homework to do tonight.
So yeah, is it? So the question is it your soul leaving your body?
Or is it your consciousness?
Or you
Your soul consciousness, yeah.
Because that's the question. Can you, when you levitate out?
What is levitating out?
Well, when you leaving having an out-of-body experience, can you see yourself as a form mirroring the form that you are? When you stepped out of your body, that you're saying you're walking to the door, what do you see?
Yeah, as your form,
do you see
yeah.
hands, or because lucid dreaming you can see hands.
Yeah.
What is your form?
I've never taken notice of the form.
Try and just before you walk out the door, just have a look at your hands. Have a look at your hands, and
Because if you're then just pure consciousness, you wouldn't have a form.
you would just be light, or you would have a form, but it wouldn't be physical. It'd be light. You know, you've had.
Because you go look back and see, okay, there's the meat suit sitting on the
Yeah.
But I can see through myself.
Yeah.
I can put your hand up. Do you see through
Yeah, well,
yourself?
people have experienced seeing light beings, and that's either just beings of pure light or beings of light that are look like us, but instead of made up of physical matter, they're just made up of light.
Yes.
But yeah, from a lot of NDEs, so near-death experiences, it's generally just beings of light is how they're described. So an intelligence, an intelligent consciousness, but in the form of just light.
Yeah. So in the process then, are you raising your vibration above the level
what we can perceive, yeah.
is, and so you're able to then leave it and then see more energy?
How would they test that? Just no, because it's just something that.
You wear a GoPro, man.
What?
GoPro ultralight.
You get the ultralight GoPro, yeah.
Yeah.
This is my actual GoPro. This is the market. We've got to sell it to some people, I'm sure.
I'll buy one.
Yeah, because that would be interesting. Because I just thought about that. What you see, you watch the Kane and Soul yet?
Yeah. I've seen
Soul,
it,
yeah,
I've
that's a
seen
great,
Soul.
great
Okay,
movie.
Just this little
Yeah, it's a little blue,
blob.
yeah,
What actually?
with no nose.
What actually
Are
Yeah.
we?
do you see?
He's a little light being, but yeah.
Are you just a light being? Are you
Yeah.
just a beacon of light that comes out?
And have a look at all the terries. They're just different forms of light that have the ability to shift into whatever they want.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows?
Because you look at the stuff with Joe Dispenza where the blue people come to visit. So my theory is they're from Venus, because the Venetians apparently were blue, but they're just energy beings. So eventually that's what we're migrating to, energy beings. So is it just a taste of where we're going, or what we're becoming?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Because we're crystalline. That's what we're made of salt, we're crystals. And so we've gone from those denser forms of rock to gradually less and less to become energy forms. And so is it
just a glimpse?
a glimpse of where we're going?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look,
Is it a
if
glimpse or is it a remembering to where we're going?
well, time is simultaneous, so it
that's
could
it.
be either one. You know, it could be happening all at once,
So
experiencing all at once.
Have you ever seen your higher consciousness?
No. This is something interesting.
Because say if
Have
your
you
higher
felt-
consciousness is just
I've
energy,
felt-
can they come to the room and see you? Because people have said they felt them and seen
I feel. So I feel a connection to my highest self, or high, they call it whatever you want to call it. Don't, you know, some people are going to call it, yeah, whatever. And it's been, to start with, it was like just a little bit of energy. Now it's just a permanent thing that sits there all the time. It's just like...
We're going to have to wrap it up, yeah. Oh, I have to head off. It's 4:48.
Wow.
You're going for a while, mate.
Didn't even
Do
realise.
you want to do the intro and the closing?
Yeah, finish what you're saying there.
Yeah, so it's like the energy is just like constant, and it's constantly there all the time. It started off as a little, the first time, so my spiritual journey, it was a little connect, and it was like, and then I became aware, like an aware of this experience. So like it's like the light bulb went and just switched on, and then all of a sudden it started dripping a little bit of information. Now it just sits there and it's just fucking pouring. Sorry, I swore, but it's pouring. It pours on me all the time, and it just keeps giving me, constantly downloading on me all the time. It's constantly giving me information, constantly uploading and flowing through. But that's all the time. But I don't know if it is that just because I've become aware of it. I don't know.
Well, maybe you raise your vibration and you're connecting to it more.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know if we raise the vibration. I think we actually release resistance. So if you talk to Abraham Hicks, the core bulbs want you to release resistance. So it's always the opposite of spirituality. You don't attain, it's what you let go of. It's release. So release resistance, which you probably release resistance,
Yeah,
so you're
so
floating to the surface.
Surrender.
Becoming closer to your higher self.
Yeah.
So people think they have to do something to get there. It's actually what you let go to get there.
Yeah.
Well, I surrendered.
Yeah.
I finally came to the, so I was doing the, you know, the boga thing where going out and looking out externally for everything. Now, and then realised I had to come to a point of surrender and lose everything, which is fine. That's fine. That was the experience that I had to come to. When that happened, that just opened up a doorway to a whole heap of stuff. And I went, okay, this is the experience that I'm having now, rightio, let's go. And it's just been, ever since that, it's just been like this. It just keeps flooding information. And just want to say, hey, thanks guys for tuning in to Sacred Masculinity, and we'll see you next time.